everybody. Welcome to Between Two Mediums. And hi, Nancy. It's nice to see you today.
It's good to see you too. It's good to see you. Long
Been
day
a
at school for you?
but yes, very much. Long day, but the weather at least is so much nicer out right
Oh, it was
now.
so beautiful. I know. I
I
wanted
actually
to get
got
out for a walk. Did
I
you?
actually did get out to go
Okay.
for a walk. So I took a long one too. It was great. It
Yeah, the
was
weather
great.
is so nice. The weather's so
Yeah.
nice. Oh, I'm so glad you got us together tonight so that we can talk about gallery readings, because we have a couple coming up, and I have talked to some people who don't know what that is when I mention it. Like, what's a gallery reading? So I thought tonight this would be good to talk about what gallery readings are and how they're different from one-on-one readings.
Yeah, I've been asked many times, what do you mean a gallery reading? What do you mean
Hmm.
like one to one they know, but yeah, so that'll be a good clarification for people and so people can know what they might want. I guess let's start with a little history about gallery reading and I know Nancy you looked up something recently and found a little history with why we call it gallery reads or gallery
Yeah.
readings.
Yeah, it originated in the 1800s with spiritualism when people would go to see mediums in parlors or theaters. And they got the term gallery from these art galleries or theater seating that they had where people would just go and observe, like to see a show. It was really big in those times and people were fascinated with it. And that's the way they sat in this gallery seating. So, yeah, that's how
Well,
it
that
evolved
makes
from there.
sense. I mean, that totally makes sense. So I think then there's questions about what does it mean to do a gallery reading or what does it mean to attend a gallery reading? And a gallery reading is just a bunch of people, a public event that come together and it's we allow the medium would allow spirit to come through. It's not necessarily um, individualized initially. It's we let whichever, spirit is intelligent. So they're wanting to come through. So we just allow and bring through anybody the energy that we feel, and
Hmm.
we describe that energy. And somebody in the gallery, somebody in the audience, um, we hope is able to understand what's coming through and be able to take it. And then we ask people to raise their hand if they can understand the information that comes through, and then we go from there.
Hmm.
But sometimes multiple people
Yeah,
can take the
yeah.
information. So then it becomes a little bit more individualized, and then we try to get some really defining pieces of information to be able to give so that we know who we're with. But it's a very different kind of read. It's a quicker read, it's a shorter read. It's can be full of details, but it's just not an hour-long read. It's usually minutes long.
Yeah, exactly. I know one of my first ones I went to was with Tyler Henry. It wasn't that long ago, but it was a huge theater, and he started up on the stage, and then he kind of was able to look out in the audience and see who was raising their hands until he narrowed it down to be a message for one person, and it was really specific and understood by that person. Probably not too many others, from probably only that person, but yeah, he was able to narrow down the field out of all these people that were there in the audience, and it was pretty fascinating to watch it up
Yeah, and I
close.
think those kind of events can have a very high vibe, high energy feel.
Yeah.
I mean, you would want it to. Everybody's there for this amazing experience. They're wanting to partake in this experience. So like the energy is high, and I think that it allows the medium then to really step back and let the energy do the work and let the energy come through. Um,
Have you been to one before? I am sure you have, but have you had any like really memorable experiences
my
at
first one
these?
was very
Oh, okay.
memorable. My first one was I a bunch of my friends were going. I didn't seek it out. I got invited to go and I'm like, "Oh, I'll go." I think that's really I was interested, of course,
Right.
Um, but we went out to dinner before just because to have like a little girls' night, and we were all talking about what we wanted to get out of it or what we were hoping to get out of it. And I didn't really, I mean, at that point, I had grandparents in spirit. I had just more recently lost my grandmother. So I just kind of I just wanted the experience. I just wanted to know what it was like to be to connect with somebody again. I just wanted the experience. So I kind of went in kind of like not with high hopes, not with
Yeah.
any kind of I just wanted the experience. And what was so cool about it was that um they the medium said some things. I don't remember what she said, but she probably said her name, and she had what I thought was an unusual name. Her name was Iris, and so she used Iris and Catherine. So it got my attention, and then
Okay.
it came out that it was for me. And she came over and she was real quiet, and she's just like, the medium is just sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, she says you just wanted the experience." And it's exactly what I said. My grandma came through just to give me this experience.
I love
So it
that.
was kind of
That's really
simple and not
amazing.
life changing, but so
Yeah.
sweet and so appreciative of that. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool
Yeah, that's
first
awesome. Yeah,
gallery
and then it's
read.
surprising too because he well with Tyler Henry, I was not expecting to be read for there was so many people there. So the fact that she came over to you and said that like you were the person that's pretty amazing.
Well,
Um
and there was probably about 100 people, maybe
okay.
150 people there. So I felt like that's crazy. That was
Yeah,
crazy. And
that's
she said
amazing.
my exact words. You just wanted the experience.
I
But
love that.
I think one thing that we want I think is important to know that in a gallery read, when you go in, there's lots and lots of people,
Hmm.
and not everybody obviously can get a reading. But sometimes the messages that come across are
Yeah.
that for one person
No reason.
may relate to others.
Hmm.
And I think that's by design. I don't think that's just a coincidence. So I think gallery readings can hit be far more people than just the couple that get chosen to get
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
Um, I think you can find healing and validations just through others reading. So I think it's important to if you go it and if you go and experience, don't sit there like, oh hum, I didn't get read. Listen, because
Exactly.
it might make sense to you too.
Exactly. And I find that is true, especially like in our gallery readings that we've been doing lately, where the messages kind of fit for, they're like, well, that was really neat. I love how they said that. I can take some of that.
Hmm.
It's just really beautiful when you get, I guess, because that in that case, you're able to talk with the people afterwards and hear that the messages resonated with them.
Yeah,
Which you
and
don't really do in a big theater situation, unless you're with your girlfriends, chatting about it afterwards.
right. And we just have to remember that this is um it's a very it's a very intelligent energy
Hmm.
coming through, and they have a goal in mind, and they want to reach as many people as well.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
if you think you can relate to you in some ways, pay attention. So
Yeah.
probably is for that. You're probably right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And now there's so many more, not only in person in these theaters like Atlantic City or wherever you're going, but they even are virtual now. Like we're having one in a
Yeah.
couple weeks. We're going to be doing one virtually, which is pretty wild how
And
it
people's like,
connects
you
with
can
people.
do that
I know, that's what I'm
virtually.
saying. Yeah, like that they're like, what? You can do that? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Spirit, it's
It's
everywhere.
amazing. Just don't stand it's in spirit's way. It can happen
Yeah,
so many
yeah,
ways.
yeah. And it's
Yes.
fun to watch it, watch it in progress, watch it work. Yeah.
But then going into the gallery, you're talking about the gallery reads, some people have asked, well, what's the difference? Which one should I go to? Should I go to a gallery read, or should I go to just a medium and do a one-to-one reading? And I think it'd be fair to talk about that for a couple minutes, because that was a question recently
Mhm.
asked. How are they really different? And I just think in a one-to-one, it's a far more intimate experience.
Yeah.
It's just you and the medium, or one or two people and the medium, and it can go. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit longer, You can't read in a gallery read, you're not going to do readings for
Yeah,
very long because people are going to get bored. But in a private session, you have a little bit more time, anywhere, I don't know, people do it lots of different times, but 30 minutes to an hour, um, or longer in some cases. And
yeah,
it's just more intimate and in depth. And it can be more personal.
yeah. I know when I used to go for one-on-ones with, I wanted to hear from my mom, and when I
Mhm.
would go to these circles, so a circle's a little bit smaller, a circle smaller than a gallery. So in a circle, maybe there were like 15 people, and I knew, yeah, I was going to get a reading, but it was only going to be 10 minutes at the most, 5 minutes. But I knew when I would go to a one-on-one reading that every single thing was for me. I would be able to
Right.
validate the evidence that was coming through. The messages were going to be just for me. I was going to know and recognize that it was my mom. And sometimes I needed that. And so that's a little, more expensive, more money oftentimes, but you're guaranteed the intimacy with your loved one who, or whichever loved one comes through at that time.
Right. And you can also like people when I'm doing a reading, sometimes a one-to-one, some people ask questions, like specific questions. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's certainly an opportunity to ask specific questions. But when you go to a one-to-one, you have to come with the understanding that we're only picking up on what we pick up on. I do believe that when spirit comes through, they're throwing everything out. And you ask a question, they're going to try their best. They're throwing out
Hmm.
um, communication for us to be able to answer that. But whether we pick up on things or not, you know, it depends. So it can be a very intimate and very detailed, but it's by the guidance of the energy coming through, the spirit coming
Hmm.
through.
Yeah.
I guess sometimes when somebody asks a question, it makes the medium start thinking, uh,
Right.
and sometimes it can jolt the connection or make it a little bit more difficult. But I
Yeah.
don't know about you. And Nancy, do you let people ask questions during one-to-ones, or do you just try to say, we're just going to go with what we get?
Um, well, often I'm doing Akashic Records reading, and that is all question
Questions.
answers. But
Sure.
so when I switched, and sometimes it's not a switch, sometimes loved ones come through in those kinds of readings, and the bottom line is I don't like to do the questions because like you said, it gets me in my head when it's I really want to, I want the session to go well, and I get into my head a lot when it's a mediumship session if it's a lot of
Sure.
questions coming at me, and
Yeah.
it disturbs the flow a little bit because I sometimes am channeling the messages, and if you're asking me questions, it just
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should not be involved. It needs to come right through. Like I need to be the channel for it to come through me. So at the end I say you can ask some questions and we can see what comes through, but there's,
Yeah.
no guarantees.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think some of the questions when people have asked us, well, what is a gallery read and how's it different than a one-to-one read? I think when you're deciding if you want to have a reading done, um, you have to decide which format would be best for you.
Hmm.
Um, like someone like me who's just kind of like, what is this? Let me go see. I want to find out what it's like
Yeah.
to be a reading. Gallery's perfect because it's not boring. Even if you're not getting read, even if you never get read, it's amazing the
Yeah. It's
connections that
really
get
fun.
made. So a gallery is a great way to dip your toe in and to just enjoy and watch how others getting readings and um, just seeing how
Yeah.
everything works. Um,
Yeah.
it can be an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I know when people come to ours with the alternating with the Akashic Records and the mediumship, yeah, it's surprising and unusual, and it's a great way to experience it if you are new to it. And
Yeah.
with other people, you're not by yourself, and you can kind of check it out. But it's worth
Yeah.
checking out.
But if you're looking for something more personal or something that maybe you don't want to share in front of other people and all, then obviously the one-to-one is the better
Yeah.
route to go. Um, but either one, it's just I whatever one, it's an amazing experience. It can be
Mhm.
an amazing experience. You just
Yeah.
have to decide for you what you're more comfortable and what you're looking for.
And what you're looking for, yeah. So if you are looking for something, you can check us out on betweentwomediums.com. We have all of our events there. We have some gallery readings coming up. We always have our one-on-ones that we both offer. And yeah, we have even little walks where you can ask questions of us and we can tell you about things. But we're even having a small circle in Frederick at the Simple Life, the Twilight readings, which are
Oh,
going to be really
yes,
nice, just a small group
in
of 8.
April.
So
Yeah.
we have the one-on-ones, we have the circle, and we have the gallery readings. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the spring. It's going to be really,
I
really
know it'll
fun.
be fun. It'll be a
Yeah.
good time. Well, thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit like or subscribe and check us out. And we feel free to leave a comment, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.